perceived significance of work is a good start, but if leaders want to build meaning at work, there are other factors that are also important. The job characteristics model is widely used to understand the design of jobs and work. Many hundreds of studies have supported this model, and these have found that when a leader designs work to make it more meaningful by following the model's recommendations, employees are more motivated and they perform better. They also do things over and above their job description, like staying late to meet customer needs or training in new colleagues. They're more intrinsically motivated and put more effort into conquering challenges. So in addition to the significance of work, there are 4 other aspects that leaders should focus on to create meaning. We're going to look at each aspect and think about how you as a leader might increase these factors, especially if they are not inherently characteristic of employees' work. The first characteristic is skill variety, and this requires that employees use more than one skill at work. The greater the variety of skills, the more meaningful. But it might not always be prudent to change a job's scope. In this case, we as leaders can influence our employees' perceptions by focusing on the complexities of a task that might usually be taken for granted, or by focusing on the interdependence of different jobs and showing employees how their contribution allows another employee to work effectively. Leaders can also extend jobs vertically, and this means giving people responsibilities that might usually be allocated to a supervisor, but can often be undertaken by employees, especially if they work collectively in a team. Let me give you an example. Johnsonville Sausages in the US is a family-owned manufacturing business. In response to complaints received about weekend overtime, the owner asked employees to investigate and solve the problem themselves. Employees from different manufacturing areas worked together to identify changes that increased efficiency and decrease problems such as machine breakdown. This increase in the variety of skills used by employees increased their autonomy and the meaningfulness of their job. Autonomy reflects the capacity to make decisions about the work we do, or at least the way we do our work. It's often increased by giving people additional responsibilities, for scheduling work, for example. However, this may not always be possible or practical. In this case, a leader can shape the meaning of work by enhancing perceptions of self-determination. Self-determination theory suggests that people have 3 drives: autonomy, competence, and relatedness. People seek to master their environment, people seek to develop connected interpersonal relationships, and people seek choice, to be able to make decisions about important aspects of their life. Leaders can highlight the extent to which an employee has developed skills and become more competent at work. During performance reviews, for example, leaders can specify the competence that employees have developed and how this has allowed them to complete more complex work. Leaders can develop natural work groups to build relatedness. And where significant autonomy is very difficult and little choice is available, leaders can highlight the quality of voice. That is, the extent to which an employee has spoken constructively about issues related to work. Another important aspect of work that increases its meaning for employees is the degree to which they can perceive their tasks as representing a whole and identifiable piece of work. Specialisation of work often means that this is difficult, as employees often just focus on one component of a larger project, which makes it hard to see how their work contributes to a particular product, service, or organisational goal. They cannot see the impact of their contribution. Broadening the scope of work is one approach, by enlarging a job or through job rotation so that employees understand each component as part of a larger project. Where these changes are not possible, A leader may be able to directly specify and show how their work efforts combine with others to produce a whole product or service. If possible, whether notionally or in practice, bring these employees together into a work group. A classic example involves an assembly line employee performing the role in manufacturing a car and then seeing the car in its final form. They can then understand how their work is vital to an important final product. Finally, meaning is built when people understand the result of their work. Feedback is most effective when it comes directly from the work itself, such as a satisfied, appreciative customer. But leaders can provide feedback that builds meaning by linking success or failure to important outcomes, by linking employee performance to its impact on a substantial and important outcome, and by allowing employees to come up with their own solution to problems. So here is a challenge for you. Think of the least motivating job in your organisation, the least meaningful, the most repetitive job, and put yourself in the role of a leader who is trying to increase the meaning of this work. What would you do? How would you increase the significance of the work involved? How would you help this employee understand their work as contributing to a whole and identifiable outcome? Could you increase the skills used in this job? Could you increase the autonomy given to this role? If not, how would you increase perceived self-determination by building the perception of competence, by increasing relatedness, that is, interpersonal connections, and by building in some choice or opportunity for voice?